Welcome to Practical Psychology Podcast, episode 41. And I'm Joseph Wong, one of the co-hosts. Today we're very happy to have Wish, a registered psychotherapist qualifying in Ontario, beautiful Toronto. Thank you, Wish, for coming back again.
I'm very, very honored to come back here, Joseph. Thank you so much for providing this opportunity.
So Wish, last time we talked multiple times because there's just so much. We
Yeah.
talk about dopamine management.
Mm-hmm.
Very important for the body, mood regulations, energy level. We
Yes.
talk about the addictions,
Mm-hmm.
addictive behavior, even beyond just addictions.
Yeah.
And today I know you want to talk about EMDR, the
Yes.
eye movement desensitization reprocessing therapy. Tell us
Yes.
more about it, Wish.
Yes. EMDR, it stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. So it is a modality of therapy which is highly structured and evidence-based. So it is mostly how it works is it connects different parts of your brains. Usually when there is trauma that's happened, the memories of trauma, they get fragmented. Suppose you are in a car accident, right? And you are saying in first person perspective, like you go through the car accident, there is a loud noise, there's a lot of fear, pain, all of that shock, right? So what happens is your brain is not able to process it properly. So what it does is it fragments that memory as a very dangerous memory or something. It just separates it. It does not connect to other parts of your brain. So whenever you go in a car ride, you're reminded of that and you feel all those difficult emotions. And you also can have some self beliefs that you're not safe on road or you're not safe outside in the world. Right? So many things can be related to traumatic events, all your self concepts. I'm not safe. Anything can happen to me. Like it's quite scary to live in a world like that, right? So what EMDR does is it takes that traumatic memory, all the feelings and sensations and emotions connected to that memory, and it connects it to different parts of your brain so that you get the whole picture, right? So when you're in a traumatic event, you're just seeing it from your perspective, right? You're just in the moment and you're overpowered by emotions and fear, things like that. But then when you see the whole picture, right? So you start to realize that, that day, the driver who was driving my car, he was intoxicated, or, someone else came and hit me from the back, which was not my fault actually. Things like that. You kind of get the whole picture when your brain starts making those connections. So you kind of zoom out of your trauma and see the whole picture. So when you do that, you kind of understand that it was, you're able to process it, digest that trauma, and remember that you're actually safe in your present. You're not in an accident. When you go out, you're actually able to take care of yourself. So these kind of belief system, it's much more processed because of EMDR. So it's a very interesting subject. So people have not really found out what your brain is actually doing when you're doing EMDR. So EMDR is basically doing bilateral eye movements, right? Like this. So there's still studies going on how that is actually helping clients to process painful memories, but it just does. There's a lot of evidence it works for anxiety, for social anxiety, confidence issues, low self-esteem. So these are the issues that happen because if there's a trauma that's happened to you, right? So when I say trauma, it's not really a car accident or a death. It can be as simple as your mom telling you to be quiet. Don't be so full of energy. You're a bad child. Things like that. It can be as simple as that, and because of that, you might shut down yourself and become an introvert. So it can happen that way as well. Or if you're bullied for who you are, you kind of shut down and there's low confidence, low self esteem. So in EMDR, we are able to unearth why that's happened due to these experiences in the past and how you can process that by zooming out. When you do the eye stimulation, you're able to first be in the trauma and then you zoom out and then you get the facts right. And your brain is able to digest it in a different way than saying, I am not a good person. You're able to understand why that happened. And it's not about you, it's about, other people not able to accept you, things like that. So your therapist will be able to guide you when this is happening. But it's very interesting how these small events in life can actually make a big impact on how you see yourself. So it's, yeah. So I think I told you a lot
Very,
of it.
very good here, Wish,
Okay.
because
Mhm.
you are explaining to people about how a trauma is like a shock to the brain. The
Mm.
shock hasn't been processed and it's causing years of difficulties for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then the EMDR using this eye movement technique
Mm.
and it's really helping people to improve for those symptoms to kind of unpack, process the brain here.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and you can use EMDR. The
Okay.
good part about it is if you've had belief systems in your life that my body is disgusting. Some people have some kind of body shaming experience if they're fat. They have like a shameful approach to their own body. So imagine you feel so shameful about yourself, you can't operate in the world properly. You can't show yourself. If you go to the grocery store, you feel conscious because
Yeah.
underlying you are shameful about your body because someone has told you something about that, right? So when you do EMDR, you kind of understand where it's coming from, and it's not even the therapist guiding you. When you do these eye movements, right? Your brain kind of remembers where you got it from. And you will be shocked as well. Oh, this is coming from that place. Right. So when I was doing my EMDR training, we had to do a lot of session with other peers. And it was so surprising how your brain actually processes the things that you've gone through. It makes really good connection. It's almost like your own therapist. You're able to make connections. Your brain is doing that on your own. So
Wow, Wish, this is amazing here. So, how about you tell us a little bit about what happened in the session? Let's say if an individual sign up for EMDR, usually how many sessions
yeah.
and what do you do in each session?
Okay, so for example, a client is coming for panic attacks. So she gets panic attacks when she goes outside and she doesn't know what's happening. When she is in public, she gets panic attacks. She becomes very self-conscious and she's shrinking herself, she's hiding herself. So she's coming for therapy, right? So um, I do an assessment of what are the thoughts she's going through when this is
Mm.
happening. That gives us a really good really good insight about how she thinks about herself, right? If she's getting
Yeah.
panic attacks, it can be a self conscious belief system that I'm not good enough, that I am
Okay.
disgusting or shameful. It can be um, very vile as well, that I don't deserve to live. It can range in different
Okay.
categories,
Mhm.
right? So we do a self assessment, we do an assessment of what is actually going on with the client and how stable they are in their day to day life. So stability is the first step, even in EMDR or any therapy, right? So if the client is, having debilitating anxiety and she's not able to get out of bed, so first we would try to fix that, even if it is, even if the root cause is something deeper. First, we'll try to fix day to day symptoms for her to be stable, right? So we will do like a stability, safety assessment to see how safe she feels living her life and is she able to live her life properly. So if that is not um, satisfactory, right? She is not able to get out of bed, and she is not able to do her work, things like that. We will talk about how that can be improved in the present. First is stabilization. So we are able to get out of bed, dopamine regulation, or any other kind of tips and
Mhm.
tricks that can help her stabilize. Even coming for therapy every other day can help for some people if they are in a very bad situation. So having a safe person to talk to, having some support, friends and family, things like that will really help in stabilization. So once it is almost satisfactory, they can't be perfect, that's okay. But once we figure out they are doing okay in life, what we do is we go into the EMDR processing. So first, there will be like a list of events that's happened that's related
One
to.
second here, Wish.
Mhm.
Let me just summarize here first.
Yeah,
So, as an individual seeking the EMDR treatment,
yeah,
the first session you were explaining that it will be assessment about, for example, panic attack, the concerns they have, finding out what is their thoughts about themselves first. And then the next stage here is stability,
yes.
routine building, and all that. And now, let's continue.
Yes. So after that, we will go through a list of, um, you know, worst things list. It's called a worst things list. So it's like a
Okay.
chronological order of, what has happened in your childhood or in your past that is distressful. Like if you think about it, I got my bike stolen at the age of 4. So that is distressing to me. Even today, when I think about it, it's like, somebody stole my bike and I don't like it. So I'll put it on my worst things list. So we'll do a rating of how distressing it was when it is when you think about it right now. So for me, it may be about a 3 on 10. It's like a little bit distressing, right? So we'll do this list and find out all the distressing things that's happened in your life. About 15-20 minutes, nothing more than that.
Okay.
And we'll do a rating of how distressing it is. And then some of them will be in clusters. So suppose I was bullied in school, right? And then I was bullied in college and then in office. So I'm going to put that in a cluster and we're going to work on a single memory so that it kind of touches everything else. So it's almost like the first time you get bullied, there is a sore spot on your hand, like you have a wound here, right? The next time you're bullied, somebody pricks you a little bit and it hurts a lot. So it keeps building up like that. Like the trauma usually builds up like it's like a wound, it keeps building up. You just put your finger in and it hurts so much. You don't even have to do anything. It's like a sore spot. So you can just cluster some of the memories because they're all related like that, right?
Wow. So the worst things list here, you make the list about what is the most traumatic memories and events. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have that list now. So what we're going to do
Okay.
is, once the client is stable, we're going to start doing processing EMDR. So it is recommended to go with the first
Mm.
memory, distressing memory, and go from there.
So
That
the
is
first
because,
memory is the most recent memory.
no, it's the chronological order of childhood, like
Oh,
first
the
few years.
chronological order on this worst list here.
Yes, yes.
So which here, when you are making this worst list here, are you making like 10 items, 20 items, 30 items? How many usually?
Usually, it's when you think about it. So, I had a client whom I did it for 1.5 hours, but that was
Okay,
the
yeah.
wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 20 minutes maximum. So, you just go over a
Okay,
few
yeah.
things. You don't go in detail. You don't have to go in
Okay,
detail.
yeah. So
The
as long
point,
as I can come up with like 5 or 10 items, it's good enough
yes.
to start the EMDR.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
And the point is, we don't do a detailed, exhaustive list. The point is, because when you start working on the earlier memories of, suppose I talk about bullying, right? In kindergarten, maybe I was bullied, and in middle school, high school, college, and university, I was bullied. right? So the first experience of bullying kind of piggybacks on all the other experiences.
Yeah.
It's already become a sore spot, and you're just touching the wound every
Yeah,
time.
it's like the paper cut continuously.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So once you work on the first memory, usually what happens, the soreness reduces for all the other memories. So
Okay,
that is
yeah.
why we don't do an exhaustive list of worst case,
Mm,
worst worst things that happen. We go just with a few. And also one other interesting thing is
okay.
when you work on these memories, right, your brain will go and connect to all the other memories. It does it on its own.
Okay.
Yeah, it does it on its own. So you don't really need a comprehensive list. You can just work with a few things. And if your brain needs processing some other event which is not on the list, your brain will do that when you're doing the eye movements. So it's almost like you take a step back
Yeah.
as a therapist,
Wow.
let the brain do its thing.
And so wish here. Okay, so let's say now we pick the first memory to work on, and what do you do in the therapy?
Okay, so suppose it is about the bullying thing, right? So the way we start is first we talk about safety device. So safety device installation is we ask the client to think about what would make them feel safe if they had to revisit this scenario, right? For example, for me, I really like dogs. So dogs make me feel safe. So whenever I would go to a bad memory, I would think of a German Shepherd with me, right? So that
Mm,
makes me feel safe. So we ask the client to visualize it first, and we do a set of eye movements. So when we
yeah.
do this, it kind of installs that, right now you're safe. You're just looking at it as a dream or a memory. You're safe now
Oh,
with the dog. It can be a dog, it can be your grandma, it can be you have special powers, you're a Superman, anything that makes the client feel
so
safe.
it's like installing a software in the brain,
Yeah.
and the first item is to install something about safety.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
I see. Okay, wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and when you do the eye movements, you're installing that safety device into their brain when
Okay.
they're accessing this memory. So they feel safe in the moment, right?
Can you simulate how does the eye movement exercise work here? Maybe for like just 30 seconds, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I usually have a spoon which I work with, but I'll do with my fingers.
Okay,
So,
yeah, okay.
so you just have to look at my fingers, Joseph. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. And just focus on my fingers. This is how it works. And your brain processes just with this. You can do it virtually, you can do it in person, anything. It's very interesting, actually. Yeah, just this. It does make you feel sleepy because there's something happening in the brain when you do bilateral movements. It's almost meditative. Yeah, this is how we do it. We do just 10 rounds and we talk
Okay,
about,
wow. Hey, so
yeah,
wish the eye movement left and right is very intense.
it is. It is. It's
Wow.
very meditative, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I feel like it is a workout. My eyes
Yes.
get tired.
Yes, your eyes get tired
Wow.
and you instantly calm down as well. I've
Oh,
noticed.
wow. Okay, yeah, okay. So this is how to install like the apps or software into the brain. The first target is safety, like a dog
Yeah.
or anything, and do this.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I see. Okay, so the individual will do this, install the safety. What's next in the therapy?
Okay, so suppose it's a bullying incident. I'm just going to go with that, right? A kindergarten bullying. So we ask, what is the image that represents the worst part of the incident,
Mm,
right? For example, I was bullied in kindergarten, for example, right? So the worst part was I was all alone, crying, and all my friends were making fun of me. So that is the image that represents the worst part of the incident. We have the image, right? Second would be what does that make you feel about yourself? So this is important.
okay, okay, yeah. Mm,
So this is a self belief that we're going to work on because this belief is making things harder for you in the present.
mm,
Whatever belief you learned because of that incident. So for example, if it's bullying, it's like I am if they are bullying me for my body, right? I would
mm,
be like, I am ugly, I am ugly, I'm not good enough, I am different and nobody likes me, I'm not lovable, I'm alone, I'm lonely, all of those things. I'm not safe with friends, things like that. So we find out what is it the client is believing about themselves because of this bullying, right? And then we ask them, for example, if it is I am not safe with friends, then we ask them, what would you rather believe about yourself? Right?
mm,
So it can be like, I am good enough, I am loved, I am okay, I am fine as I am. So sometimes you do know that you are actually fine, but you're not able to believe it. Right?
mm,
In confidence issues, I've seen that um, uh, if you have problems with public speaking or being in front of people, right? You
mm,
technically know that they're not going to judge you, they're good people, but your mind doesn't believe it. You don't feel safe being who you are. It can come from these places. So what would you rather believe about yourself? So that would be, I am good enough, I am loved, I am safe with friends, anything
mm,
like that. We find that out, right? Next next we're going to ask, when you think about, you in that image being alone and crying, everybody making fun of you, and you think about, I am loved, right? How true does that feel for you right now?
okay. Mm,
The client will be like, no, I don't think that's true because I feel I'm not good enough because of that. So on a scale of 1 to 10, we are going to rate that. Okay?
okay.
And then we ask them, where do you feel that in your body? So they do
Okay.
a quick body
Mm,
scan. Some usually they feel it in the chest. They feel heaviness. They feel adrenaline rush, things like that, right? And we note it down, and then we ask them to think of the image being bullied, the heaviness in the chest, and feeling like I am not loved, I am not safe. And then
okay.
we do the eye movements. So
Okay.
we do it like 10 sets of this, right? And
Okay,
then
I
we
see.
ask what came up.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So the client will be like, um, I just feel heaviness in my chest. I see them all making fun of me. Just any kind of random thoughts that come up. Okay. So whatever comes up, we go with that. We ask them, go with that, and we do another set of eye movements.
Oh, so basically
Keep going.
you ask about the image, the body sensation, the feelings, the belief, and then how true it is,
Mm.
and then you do the eye movement like
Hmm.
an exercise here.
Yeah.
After that, you ask for the feedback, and then you just continue like in a gym doing
Yes.
intervals training almost.
Mhm. Yes. Yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
see.
And you just go with whatever comes up. Sometimes it's random
Mhm.
other memories that are related to the bullying that come
Okay.
up, and the client is talking about that. You just go with whatever comes up. But if the client
Okay.
is going very, they're getting distracted, you'll have to calmly bring them back to the incident. But usually the brain is making all these different connections. They do go elsewhere. They
Mhm.
do come to a recent event which happened. It's all linked in the brain. So it's just linking to all these things and processing in its own way, right? And I
Mhm.
have seen that the pattern of how this EMDR works is first, the client is first person view in the trauma, like that comes up.
Mhm.
Slowly, they zoom out and look at the whole picture.
Oh,
Suppose with the
wow.
bullying incident, right? They say things like, um, I was wearing a very funny shirt that day and they were laughing. And I see that now, why they were laughing, right? They make these connections, look at the whole picture and they check the facts. Like how you were mentioning, Joseph, we need to check the facts,
Mhm.
right? They do that on their own. They come up with these facts that they actually missed when it was happening.
Oh, so they get a better perspectives, multiple perspective.
Exactly. Exactly. They get all these different perspectives of what was actually happening that day, right? They zoom out. And then what happens is their brain starts telling them, oh, it was actually not my fault. It was actually
Yeah.
they were just being kids. They were just making fun of me. It was not a big deal.
Oh,
Things
so they
like
get a
that.
more reasonable and
Uh,
more appropriate interpretation of the event rather than the first one, the traumatic one.
Exactly, exactly. So when that
Okay.
trauma happened, right, they're just kids, they're just in
Yeah.
kindergarten, and the way they look at it is very, it's in simple ways, and they
Mm.
internalize it more. But when you do EMDR now as an adult, you look at it in a more holistic way. You look at it in different perspectives, and you
Yeah.
actually realize what happened was just kids being kids, and actually I was wearing a funny shirt that day. It makes sense. Things like that. They're able to make sense of what happened. And in the end, we are going to ask them, once they say that there's nothing else coming up for like 2 3 times after this, it's going to stop. The things that come up are going to stop. Then we do a SUD scale rating. SUDS is like distress. How much distressing is it now? I told you it was a 3, right? The bullying. Now it's gone
Yeah.
to a 0. So we do it until it goes to a 0,
Mhm.
right? And after that, I'm going to ask the client, when you think about that image where you were alone in kindergarten, and you think about I am loved or I am safe with friends, the positive cognition, how true does that
Yeah.
feel right now?
Wow.
Usually, it feels more true to the client. And then we do a lot of eye movements after it feels true, so that you install it in that memory.
Oh,
You
I
keep going with
see.
positive cognition. And the client might say, it feels more true now. I feel lighter in my chest. That heaviness is not there. And we
Oh.
keep doing that until there's no change. So even if there is some positive things they're saying, we keep installing that until there's no change.
Mhm.
So it's like completely sealed with positive cognition. So, and then you
Mhm.
do a body scan if there is any other sensations in the body, discomfort. If it is there, we do one another set of movements until it's gone, because the body
Okay.
also can store tension. So we do another set until you're feeling completely fine.
Wow. So we share you talk about as a master overview here, the installing the safety object first,
Yeah,
and then the negative memory to target it,
yeah.
and then to install the positive, and then to do the body scanning. So for a typical session, is it 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes? How long it is?
That's a good question. It can, so when you do these eye movements and you're
Yeah.
doing the trauma processing, right? Sometimes you can digest trauma in 20 minutes. Sometimes it takes
Okay.
1.5 minute, 1.5 hours.
Oh,
Sometimes it takes more than that, 2 hours, right? So it really depends. Um, So we have 45-minute sessions, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm doing EMDR, this part of the step, right? I'm going to tell them in advance that it might take longer and it would be beneficial to book 1.5 hour session, just so that we can try to complete the process. But also, if you can't complete it, right, is there's only 10 minutes left, the client is still going on about that, the trauma, they're not able to get anywhere in the distress scale, we do a container exercise where we stop 10 minutes before the end session. We put the whole memory into a container, the choice of
Okay.
container the client picks, and until they feel safe and it is tucked somewhere else, the container and the memory, right? We just do the exercise until they feel safe, and then we do a
Also,
ground.
there's another imagery exercise at the end
Yeah,
for some of their unresolved, unfinished business.
unfinished
Put it in
business.
the container for next time to follow
Yeah,
up.
yes, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And then you do
Yeah.
like a grounding breathing exercise, deep breaths, so that the client feels okay and it's not all over the place, like it's not open. Yeah,
And one second, okay.
yeah.
And we share this is fascinating. And so if let's say today we're coming to the end here, we'll put all your comments, descriptions here. If
Yes.
any fellow clinicians, counselors, psychologists, or clients want to ask you for a demo, how do they contact you?
So I will put my details, my email ID, my social media page, and all the details in this video so that they can contact me
Okay.
anywhere. I'm always checking everything, so I'll be able to reply. And yeah, we can go from there.
Wish,
Yeah.
this is very exciting here. Once again, we can't wait to have you again next time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Joseph. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye for now. Bye,
Goodbye
Wish.
for now. Bye.